Welcome to the Real Aesthetic Podcast, a real deal on like aesthetics and stuff.
Oh, we've been rolling this whole time.
He was my gopher.
I'm your host, Alexis Arsenis. We're going to have a good time here. Hey guys, welcome back to the Real Aesthetic Podcast, a show where we talk about aesthetics, health and wellness, business, a little bit of everything. Today we have a super fun show because it's kind of off the cuff, super fun, and with a good friend of mine, Drew, who's the rep for Lumenis in this area. Mm-hmm. I'm so excited to have you here. Are you excited? Are you shaking? Like, what are we?
So excited. I didn't think about doing anything else today. Just ripping a podcast.
I think that we're gonna. Well, do you want to talk about Lumenis and what you guys have and like that stuff?
Maybe touch on that at the end. Let's go back to.
Oh, so so before we started filming, we were talking. Wait, Nick.
Yes.
Lovely producer back here. Sorry,
Yes,
forgot
of
to
course.
introduce you because I'm such an ass.
I'll let it slide this time.
I'm sorry. What was the actor's name? We were talking about
Gene Hackman.
So Gene Hackman dies with his wife
And the dog.
and the dog.
Mm-hmm.
But we're
Most importantly, the dog.
But she's what, 60? He's 90.
Yeah.
Living the dream.
Yep. And the police said no
Was-
foul play, which is what's sparking all the controversy.
That's kind of weird, no?
It's weird to say no foul play, even if like,
Even if it was carbon monoxide, like why can't they just say it?
but like something foul happened. Death is not, death is foul.
Yeah, it's not like they just
Yeah, there's not a lot
didn't
of
wake up all three of them at the same time.
Yeah, even if it was natural causes.
not a lot of coming back from.
No.
It's kind of final, a little bit.
So that's what we were talking about.
How did the dog die? So carbon monoxide makes sense. But I'm
Yeah, but they were
into
all together. Like,
Right.
I mean, I don't know. You've been with your fiance for how long?
4 years.
Do you
Like,
guys
total time?
total time?
11 years.
Okay, do you guys cuddle and sit next to her every night?
We only cuddle.
What?
No, joking. We never do.
See, that's what I'm
Get
saying.
away from me.
Like 90
Oh my
years
God,
old
he's
and
me.
it
Get
is-
away
I
from
run
me. I
hot.
say it all the time. Get away from me.
Don't touch me. Leave me alone.
She'll lean over and touch my hand, or I'll touch hers, but that's it.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So they were like laying.
Oh, they were all snuggling
From the report, they were all laying together, is what I read,
to set up.
and died together.
To set up.
Yeah, right. That sounds a little shady to me.
I want to see his flight records. Was he on Epstein Island at
It's
all?
the day before.
Day before,
Day
and he
before.
dies. Ooh, that's like really shady.
Also, hold on, Nick. Gene Hackman's 90.
1930 to 2025.
yeah,
so
he's
95.
He's 95. Yeah.
How is he 95? Also, his wife, R.I.P., 60.
Yep.
Love that.
That's
That's nothing, dude. You should see Clint Eastwood's youngest child. Clint Eastwood's almost 100 years old. His youngest son is like 35.
How
Swear to God.
Serious?
What were you
I
saying?
swear to God, he's
How
a
old is
stud.
he?
See,
girl.
guys can just keep pumping them out. Like you guys don't age
Yeah,
out. like
Robert
women
De
do.
Niro just had a kid 2 years ago. He's 84, 85.
Okay, but
Imagine that's your dad.
I know, disgusting.
it's trendy right now.
It
the
is.
old guy dating the young girl, Bill.
Hey,
I guess Gene Hackman, even though 60 is not young, but 60 compared to 95, very young.
the younger people are into the older guys these days.
It's
you know?
gonna revert.
I've always loved older guys.
Yeah, that's how it goes, right? The young.
I mean,
younger,
Rob's not that much older than me, but like prior to being with Rob, I was always with older men
Yeah,
because I was working for Hydrofacial and doing the rep life like you and traveling around like a psycho, and dating just wasn't. It's not feasible in that lifestyle. I
it's
think.
not. No, it's not. I think that's being a salesperson in general makes half the job is maintaining your personal relationships.
Yeah, because you don't have any. Well, you barely have any because you're so focused on building new relationships with all of these physicians. And I mean, in our industry, it's like going to dinners and buying coffees. And I felt like a coffee bitch for a long time. Just like, oh, can I get you muffins? Like Starbucks?
Especially in
Like,
the beginning, you are kind of a coffee bitch.
yeah, until you
What
have.
can I get
this-
you? What,
Yeah, you just like keep going to local bakeries to try to find something cool, custom cookies.
something different.
Yeah.
I would in the beginning. I never do this anymore.
How long have you been a rep though?
A rep in aesthetic sales, 5.5, 6 years.
Which is like a lifetime.
Right. That is like a century in aesthetic sales. I feel like
It
an
is.
old man.
You're old, but you're the old one now.
I used to, in the beginning phase, I would prospect and stop in for all the med spas that are going to watch this. Sorry. I'd stop in with pizza, just ready to be eaten. Because you can't turn away someone who's bringing in pizza.
That's actually a good. That's actually
Just anything different. But you know what? I say that getting turned away with pizza in hand, you feel so.
You're like
Do I
in your
leave
car
it?
eating the pizza.
No, but do I leave it? Do I bring it with me? Do I eat it in the car? No, you just go to the next place and bring it to
Offer
them.
the pizza.
It's a little colder. Everyone likes cold pizza. Come on now.
I feel like that's so guilty too when you get in the car and you get denied because they always have the best front desk staff. That's just, and I'm
Always.
guilty too because the girls downstairs know if a rep comes in, I'm not home. I tell them,
Yeah.
I'm just
They're
not,
taught.
I'm
well.
busy. Sorry.
Yeah.
Hide me.
Yeah.
But that's only because I was a rep for so long. I feel like the reps don't bother me because a lot of them know who I am. So they're just kind of, they're very standoffish. They're like, oh, okay. Unless you want to help me make a deal. And I was like, drop your stuff off. Maybe I'll make a
sometimes when you're selling to someone like you who or you're just trying to talk to them in the beginning because you don't want to come sell at you right away, it's harder sometimes because you know the game. You've been a sale, but then sometimes it's easier because you have more.
Well,
I think you have more empathy for reps
feel
because you
bad.
know the grind.
I feel bad for a lot of them. I mean, I have one rep who comes in religiously and I will never buy their stuff. It's just, I think it's just really overpriced for what I do, for what I have. And I'm not spending $400,000 on this laser. It's just not what I'm going to do. But I appreciate the hustle. Like they come in all the time. Hey, how you doing? Like, I know you're not just dropping by. Like I was on your list. You weren't driving by me.
Yeah. But they appreciate you appreciating the hustle.
Yeah. I'm like, do you want to just sit for a second?
Yeah.
Hang out?
I found going back to, maintaining personal relationships in the beginning, it's so hard because I tell people, I hate when people say sales is acting. I hate that. I don't know if you think that or anyone, this might be controversial.
Yeah.
But like to me, a great salesperson or a great it's your lifestyle. And that's what makes it so, that's why you get run down more easily. It's why you can overwork because it is your lifestyle. When you look at what salespeople do, at the end of the day, you get to wear decent clothes, you get to drive a nice car that's paid for, all your gas is paid for. It's your lifestyle. Like when I wake up, I hop in my car. I don't feel like I'm working. Some days you feel like
some days you feel that hustle.
You know what I mean?
Like,
you show up, you wear scrubs to your med spa. What you're getting to do is awesome, and it is your passion. But some days it is work and it's a grind. But mostly I'm like, I can't complain. I could have been roofing in Brockton with my dad. You have to wake up, wear nice clothes, and hit the road. Everything's paid for. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I think, but it takes
Those
a
are
while to
privileges, no? Privileges for good
100%.
salespeople.
I was going to say, that's not all
like if you're not
salespeople.
good at what you do, you don't get everything paid for.
I have a sales rep
Very
that comes in. She's very new. She started last August, and she was like crying in my lobby. And I said, "Are you okay?" She goes, "How did you do it? How did you do the grind?" And I said, "You live it. You have to do it. You just get up, you go to these places, and you put your face there. They need to have these relationships with you." And she's like, "Well, everyone's denying me." And I'm like, "Well, fix your approach."
Yeah, 100%.
It is hard. So it's not, I think when you're talking about it and how like someone like my mom, who's like the dinosaur in sales. Yeah, you do get the fruits of your labor. You get like the nice car. You don't have a schedule, so to say. But in the beginning, it's hard. I remember when I moved to Jersey, I didn't know one person. I moved into a client's house. Like, that's how I got to Jersey. I sold her a hydrofacial, and she told me her daughter was moving to California. And I was like, hey, if I give you product to run your hydrofacial, can that be the money for rent? Because I was fucking broke. And I was like, okay. She goes, great, I'll do it. I'm like, it's a return value of $3,000. She goes, all right, awesome. And I rented this lady's a room in her house. And Nani and Nano were in the basement. It was a big Sicilian family in Jersey. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, no one spoke, like, only the mom and, like, the kids spoke English. Everyone else spoke Sicilian, knew nothing.
This is incredible.
And then,
by the things we will do.
Yeah.
You shackled up
18 years old.
with a Nani and a Nunny.
Met this lady at the New York trade show at the Javits Center.
Which is next couple weeks.
Yeah.
Up here.
So excited for
one.
it. So it's like, I was ballsy to think now if my daughter told me, Mom, I'm going to move into someone's house that I just met at a trade show, I'd be like, are you out of your mind?
You'd be like, no, you fucking ain't.
No, but I did it. But in the beginning, it was hard. I didn't know. I had no relationships. I'm going from place to place to place. But then eventually, I bought myself a nice brand new 550 BMW and was able to drive to all my accounts.
The things you do in the beginning, but why do we do that? Like you look at you doing that and making that sacrifice and doing insane stuff to become successful at what you do, but you don't want that for your daughter in the future. Like you'd be like, why are you doing that?
I think that it's a little different now. I think that I don't know, maybe it's not different. Maybe we just have more
we
media
perceive it.
and it's, I think that my mom had an instinct that the woman I was moving in with was just like this really cool mom. Like she was just an esthetician out of her house. Like
she probably was, right?
Was she not
amazing?
She was super cool. And it was kind of like shady in the beginning.
What's she charging for rent nowadays? I'll go to Jersey.
I don't know what the rent is there now.
What brought you to New Jersey?
I couldn't sell hydrofacial up in New England because my mom was already the rep. So the only way I could get a territory was if I moved somewhere else. And when at the time the manager was like, hey, I have Jersey open, would you take it? The biggest hurdle for me was where was I going to live? And I took the job before I moved there. So I was commuting from Boston to Jersey, and I would sleep in hotels, my car, it would be I'd shower at Planet Fitness,
hell yeah.
It was such a grind. But I just did it. It wasn't anything. I knew that at first, when I didn't want to go back to college, I said I had to do something to prove that I could do this, and just going out on my own was something that I just did it.
You don't think, but you don't think in the time. You just do shit, and it just
and everyone in aesthetics is pretty cool though. Like for the most part, you're dealing with cool people. You're dealing with plastic surgeons, derms. I prefer the plastic surgeon side.
Me too.
Or the nurse practitioners. And back 10, 11 years ago, I mean, it wasn't as big as it is now.
A very different time. 2015 aesthetics was like a century ago.
It was unbelievable. Well, you sell Lumenis, so tell me what stuff you have, just so people understand. Who you
Lumenis, widely known for CO2 IPL.
Yep.
The first to innovate IPL. A lot of companies say that, but Lumenis has the first patent for IPL technology. Dynamic muscle stimulation for the face, RF microneedling, CO2, one of the best CO2s ever made. Big names behind it: Rox Anderson out of Harvard Labs, Matthew Avram, people like that. We just launched a new product for hair restoration.
The Folix.
Folix.
I'm so excited.
I was saying for years, I was like, man, I want something in my bag to be able to sell for hair, just because it's in this business, it's so crowded. You always want something that's a little different from the other 40 dudes walking into your clinic trying to sell.
I mean, there's so many companies that have the same thing.
It's astonishing.
It's the exact same device with a little bit of a different paint job.
Yeah. Going back to that rep that cried in your lobby, you have to be, if you're doing this for a long time, you have to be spectacular, not good, not great. You have to be perfect to last in this. Obviously, it's impossible to be perfect, but
no, you have to.
Crying's a part of it.
Yeah, I mean, I
cried on my way over here. Come on now.
He's like, what are we going to talk about?
No,
I think that when you do sales, it is a lifestyle, and it is. I think it is some sort of an act too in the beginning, because you don't know.
You don't know anything.
These new reps, they don't know.
They don't know.
You have to put on a show, and you do all the things. But
it only works if you drink your own Kool-Aid.
Yeah,
totally.
You got to believe it.
Yep.
I could never sell a
this
laser.
gets so crowded. You gotta drink other Kool-Aid too. The days of shitting on another company's product is over. You can't come in. Why would you go meet someone and say, why would you buy that? Or, oh, you have this and shit on it, and then talk about how great yours is. No one wants to be near that person.
Well,
no, you have to actually work, I'm sure, and show the value in your product and say, let's not even worry about the other products, because they don't matter. It's not that they're bad. They don't even matter.
Yep. If someone's got another brand, which everyone does, I go in and high five them, and I talk about how I can enhance what they already have.
Yeah.
Because then you're going to be more receptive to talking to that person.
Exactly.
Hey, great job. You get that product. It's amazing. How's it going?
I also think you're not insulting their intelligence, because if you go in there and you're like, why did you buy that?
You
spent
decision?
That money on that? Are you an idiot? Look at that thing. They're going to be like, well, I thought it was good. And it's such an odd, and truthfully, I'll be honest, I think everyone's guilty of it when you're first starting.
Totally.
I remember when I first started doing hydrofacial and there was like this weird competing device and I was like, what? Like, the hell you buying that stupid thing for? Like, this doesn't even freaking work. Like, there's no data behind it.
Yeah.
And they'd be
now
like,
she bought one. No.
yeah.
Jokes,
I'm like,
jokes.
that's.
Now you got one.
No,
it's true. It's hard not to do that because you do, like Nick said, you drink your own Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
And anything not that cool, you're like, what is that? Why would you do that? I just came back from my training. Mine's the best.
Yeah, you're like, they just brought me to like Cancun and spent all this money
They
on me going to
told
this
me
training. It's
great.
amazing.
Yeah, you need to have
That's
hours.
the other thing, though, that I don't remember doing 10 years ago. Now the game is different. Now the trips.
The
and
trips.
that's a different ball game. When I started working for Evolus and when I launched with them, and my experience with that was not desirable at all, anything about that whole thing. But I never knew how many, because I was new to the farm world, that's sending these doctors on trips and going to all these things, like that's their way in.
Totally.
I never, like we didn't do that with hydrofacial or any of the lasers or BTL or Cynosure. Like we didn't do that.
The way I look at it is it's your way in, but it helps them make a decision because they're out of their clinic. When you're in your clinic, when you're in your home versus your like you're a different person. You're crowded. You're busy.
It's also a lot nicer under palm trees and a friggin'
lake. It doesn't hurt. It's always in a conveniently beautiful destination.
Yeah.
But like when someone's in their clinic, they're not fully present. So but they're interested in buying something, and it's really hard to make a big purchase decision when you're in your normal day-to-day
grind,
thinking about the hydrofacial you've got at 12:30 after this or something.
Yeah.
How can you make a decision on what to purchase when there's so many options? It's very expensive. It's a big decision. You want to be clear. And so when you fly and go, you're all in with your attention to something like a Lumenis event or whatever product.
You guys have good events.
We have great events. Yeah.
Did you bring me my banner?
I did not. I forgot it. I was driving here.
I was going to text you too.
This is totally me. I'm like a ADD freak. I left my driveway, drove down the street in near death, roads with snow. I turned around to go get it. And then I entered my street, turned around again because I was like, I'll just bring it another time because I don't want to be late to this.
I appreciate you not being late though.
Yeah.
So he made me a really nice banner. That's why I asked for a Tri-Lift. So I'm excited because we have it downstairs. We're going to be doing some promo stuff with it. And some really cool videos that Nick and I are going to do. So I'm excited to test it out and see how the results come.
Totally.
Because I'm a results girl. Like drop it off, let me play with it. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And you're nice. Most reps don't do that.
Yeah, totally. No reps do that.
No.
Every rep watching this is going to be like, this kid's an idiot.
Yeah.
But we have a relationship. We're cool. But like I was saying, being different, like Tri-Lift, when it first came out, I was like, wow, that's different. Stimulating the face muscles. But the thought behind it is like any muscle atrophies over time.
Yeah.
And facial muscle elongates and gravity takes a hold. And your facial muscles drop and you can get surgery for 10 to 20 grand, 8 weeks of downtime. You can, very expensive. Whatever the cost is to that $12,000-$15,000.
How do you compare yours to like M-Face though? Because I think M-Face is that everyone knows M-Sculpt. Everyone knows, I don't think they understand what BTL is, but they know what M-Sculpt is, M-Face is, and they see the patches on the face and flexing the muscle. What makes that different than Tri-Lift where you're actually, the technician's physically moving the device?
Great question. Very different in the method. With something like an M-Face, there's where it's lacking is customization.
Okay.
With Tri-Lift, I say it really is like putting a paintbrush in an artist's hand. I know that sounds really corny, but you can totally customize someone's face. So if you're sleeping on one side of your face for 20 years, right? That's your face is going to be, your facial anatomy is totally unique and totally different. That's why with injectors, right? That's artistry. You can't just go get filler or injectables
from
anyone, right?
No.
If you could, this industry wouldn't be what it is. So you got to have a certain amount of units to treat your 11s versus your forehead versus your cheeks. The filler in your cheeks is different than other products.
Your lips and everything else.
Same with treating facial muscle stimulation. Same with treating any energy-based device. TriLift, you're completely customizing, you know, one side of someone's face versus the other. M-Face, really, you're just, they kind of have this set it and forget it type of business model, like that, which is great, right? Like, hey, you don't have to.
I think that's what appeals to a lot of doctors because they don't
have time.
Yeah, they don't have time.
Right?
And the nurses and I'm not knocking nurses, but like I'll say technicians because it could be nurses, it could be estheticians, it could be whoever. They might not understand the anatomy as well. So like putting it on where it says, hey, put patch here. Like it's just more.
Strap this on, set it and forget it.
Yeah.
But with facial aesthetics, that is never going to be optimal. I want a great device in a great provider's hand to give a great outcome. Yeah. You cannot compete with that. It's invaluable.
I agree.
And then you get into the consumable cost of a product with those, you know, sticky adhesives and, you know, I hate consumables. And not that my company doesn't have some of them because you're always going to need some kind of consumable. But in this day and age in aesthetics, it's just.
There's no reason why tips and all this shit should be like as expensive as it is.
It's absurd. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's the cost of doing business with certain products, but some of them are getting insane. So that's where Lumenis really excels. They're not this consumable driven company. TriLift is a great example. It's all net revenue. Every dime.
Except your tip for the.
Right, except for single use microneedling tips. Those are always going to be, you can't really.
See that single use, guys? I don't understand this whole saving your tip shit.
Oof, don't do it.
How many times have you seen it? Truthfully, as a rep,
I mean,
I used to see it. Yeah. How disgusting is that?
Yeah. Well, but it comes back to like medical spas are fighting for revenue. You know, your costs are so high. I
know, but let's be real, okay? For the people that are listening to this that are in the business, most of the time that tip is not worth more than $100. You're charging more than $1,000 roughly for that treatment. You're telling me you can't afford another tip?
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
Well, then like the cost of like something happening to that patient.
Yeah.
Some kind of infection.
I went to a place and she had, you know those like office drawers sets that are like all the colors and shit?
Yeah.
She had them labeled with the alphabet on them. And I randomly was in a room waiting for her and I'm like, what does she have like in here? So being a creep, I just like looked in the drawer and she had patients' names on them in a plastic baggie in room temperature. And you can't tell me in a plastic bag, room temperature, that's not harboring some sort of bacteria. It's a bloodborne, there's blood on it. Would you take needles out of your sharps container and use them again?
Never.
Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
It's a perfect analogy.
But
you'd never do that.
No, but I would see it all as simple as I'd see it with hydrofacial tips, which is really friggin' gross because those are not expensive at all. But it's just, I don't understand it. Mm-hmm. I think the grossest thing I've seen reused is disposable razors. I'm not even kidding. Like those dollar disposable razors.
But this should help people like be better and sell. Because I try to think about like, okay, if my mom was going to get a treatment at one of these med spas, or dermatology office, I try to put myself in her position. I wouldn't want her going to a place that's cutting corners like that.
No.
Putting her at risk or just the grossness of it. It's crazy.
But you see it everywhere. Like I used to see it at a lot. I mean, there's a lot of places that don't do it. Don't get me wrong. I have never in my career ever reused a tip for anything. Mm-hmm. But for me, it's common sense. I remember working at a place for a little while and I caught them reusing stuff. And I literally quit that day. I was like, I can't, this is disgusting. She's like, you don't know how much things cost me. And I was like, I do, actually. It's $100. Like, wow. Come on. Because you're doing them in a package of 3, right? So what are people charging for the radio frequency microneedling?
Yeah, it depends on the area, depends on the market, the town, the zip code, the medium household income. But a package of 3, $2,500 to $3,500. Yeah.
You can't tell me you can't afford $300 out of that?
Come on, people.
Maybe your payment for your laser is what? If you have one, $1,000.
About that, I mean, on the high end, $2,000, $2,500.
Yeah.
The cost of
so you're paying your device off with one client, like your ROI.
One sale.
One client will pay that off. So you can't tell me.
Right.
I think it's just a cheap way to go.
Yeah. I think a big part why people struggle selling providers like yourself, not like you, you're a beast and you can sell. But people forget, like, you're unfortunately now a salesperson. If you run a medical spa, you're a salesperson. And, you know, you have salespeople like me coming in and trying to sell you our products and get to know your practice. But like, people forget, and I think they struggle sometimes because you're now a salesperson, and you've got that patient wants you to sell them something that they can benefit from for their skin. And if you don't embrace that and hone your skills and practice it, and you think just having good products and being a good provider is going to be enough, it's not. You have to recommend solutions to problems for your patients.
I think that what I used to hear a lot in sales too is like estheticians especially would say, I'm an esthetician, not a salesperson. And I said, well, that's your first problem because you need to have people understand why you're important and significant and the results that you can get. Maybe you think that's salesy, but you're never going to get clients if you don't do that. You're just going to just be stagnant and not have any business. I have devices downstairs that I had a client this morning, right before I had you. She's like, I want to use this. I want to do fat reduction, da-da-da-da. And I said, honestly, the results you're looking for is surgical. I'd love to strap you on here and take your money. But at the same time, like, you're not going to get the result you're looking for. So why don't we do something else? Because this isn't really going to be for you. And then she signed up for laser hair removal. Totally.
How easy is that? But that's being people think being a salesperson, it has this negative connotation to it. Sometimes you're recommending them away from things.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not taking your money because you're not going to see the result you're looking for.
Now she trusts you.
Yeah.
And it paid back. She bought laser hair removal.
Yeah, she's doing a membership. So now I get money from her every single month.
Let's go.
I think that people are so focused on like the large item sale.
Yes.
These med spas are saying, hey, listen, buy 3, get 1 free, $3,000, including all these fun things. Or they just do, I include a lot of things. So if say my package is $3,000, I'm going to include like exosomes with that. Maybe give them a take-home kit. Give them stuff to like leave pretty and not looking like a, cherry tomato.
Yep.
So we make it a little bit different. But a lot of these practices, they just want this big number and then that's it. I would rather little money monthly than, I don't know.
The challenge with that's so well said. And it's such an important thing for if you're a business owner, if you're running a med spa or a dermatology clinic. It's too hard. If you just focus on that $3,500 sale for whatever you're trying to sell to your patient, it's too challenging. And what you're doing is you're adding value for the client. You're throwing in a free hydrofacial with that $3,000.
Yeah, absolutely.
Free B12 shot, free couple units of Botox, right? You're not discounting your price. You're keeping your price high, right? But if you're just selling based off of that price and that one treatment and not adding those value-added things, it's going to be too hard.
They can go to 10 different places and get the same thing.
But then what's the solution to that of your provider? Drop your price. Now you're dropping your price. Now the value is really low because now it's a cheaper. So don't discount. Give your patient more
value.
Give them more things. Give them more value. Give them a free skincare home. Give them some Nutrafol
masks,
for their hair.
Like do something. Yeah. The amount of money it costs you to include things is significantly cheaper than you having them come in, do one treatment. Maybe that treatment's uncomfortable. Right. And maybe they don't come back and redeem the other 2. So now you're out this money. Like, did you make sure you have a time limit on that?
Right.
Because what if they come in a year and a half and they want to get those treatments now? You don't have the money for that tip now.
Yeah,
like, what do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So I think that people need to be a little bit smarter. And by no means am I a huge med spa downstairs. Like, we're a few years old. I've just been in the industry a while and I've learned from working with other med spa on what works. And that works for us. I like the add value versus the discount. Sometimes we do like a cool flash sale just because I'm like, this thing is getting dust. Let's use it.
Get it busy. Buy this, get this for free, whatever it is.
I do a lot of like body toning for free. Like I just include it. I'm like, I just do it.
People overthink this. You just got to get busy, whatever it is, promotions. You're always doing some kind of event, some kind of promotion, some kind of purchase this, get this 50% off.
Yeah.
You got to do those things.
But do you find that right now specifically that it's a very weird time in business for med spas?
Yes.
Because there's not a lot of people buying equipment right now.
Weird and different. It's a weird time for sure. There's never been a time where it's been more competitive
than right now.
In every way. There's so many how many med spas are in your town?
4, I think.
Right. Like in
But
North
none of them
Reading's
do
not
what
a big
I do.
town.
And they're on the same street. But no, what's funny is none of them, maybe one other one does some of the same things I do, but we have such a different approach. And I would love if she came down and wanted to talk to me, I'd be like, hey, great. My door's always open for you.
Yeah.
Like, let's collab on something. You want me to send people to you for B12 shots? Cool. Like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't like bother me, but people aren't, it's very competitive.
Extremely competitive.
I'm next to Andover. How many are in Andover?
It's got to be 15,
On
20.
one street.
And Andover's tiny. These towns are tiny.
Yeah.
They're little small towns.
Main Street in Andover, there's at least 10 that I can think of off the top of my head on one street. How does a consumer pick which one's better?
I think that's your advantage, being smaller, and you're like, I'm not this big med spa. I think there's a shift right now. People want to get leaner. People want less overhead. They want less consumables. They want lower insurance. They want to be that small menu at a restaurant, that premium, high priced. Mm-hmm. It's easier to do that if you have a smaller practice where you're giving your patients more attention. You can control your business more. You know, if you get 2, 3, 4, 5 practices, that's what everyone wants. That's like the dream.
Yeah, this whole like multiple location thing, I'm all set with that.
Whatever works, and I'm sure like some people want that, but I think your advantage right now in this weird, tough market in aesthetics is your size.
Yeah, stay small.
Yeah, you're leaner. You can control things more. You can give that premium, high-end service to clients that they want.
What else is your new business advice for med spas right now? As a rep,
I'm not just saying. I think this is a big one, and you'll probably like this because you're an esthetician.
Yeah.
Which I think is a massive advantage in aesthetics. I think a good esthetician with a good product. I mean, nothing better. Love a good esthetician. And I love good RNs and med spas and NPs and PAs. But
estheticians have a different way of
a new med spa.
Things.
I was just telling a couple of physicians, 3 physicians starting a med spa, my favorite.
I love that when they're newbies like that.
Yeah, like those are the best. But, I tell people you've got to do Botox and filler, but you can't build your practice just based off of those things.
Not anymore.
Why do you think?
Botox a dime a dozen. Everybody does it. And the thing that I don't particularly love about all these med spas popping up, and I'm sure you can agree, you have people that are these non-core physicians, or they've been in the hospital for 35 years. They've never done facial anatomy or aesthetics. And they say, oh, I took this 2-day course in Botox, and now I'm going to be doing Botox and filler. This is amazing.
Yep. Gonna get rich.
It's not that. It's not that. And if you dedicate, and I'm not saying if you're 30 years in the business and hospital nursing and you want to get into aesthetics, don't do it. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is really invest in your education. And a lot of these new places don't do that. They just like these groups of 3 doctors. Maybe are they all plastics or are they non-core?
They're non-core.
Exactly.
Internal medicine physicians.
Nothing about skin.
That right there is what makes it a commodity. When it's totally not a commodity, it's artistry dependent. It's a good injector. It's not just get it anywhere. But
they could build a great practice just because of the internal medicine has a lot of flow, but that doesn't necessarily mean those clients have
You're
money.
going to have patients. Yeah, it's a different business. But the biggest thing I see with a new med spa, I tell them you can't build your business based off of that because it is extremely competitive. And when it becomes too competitive, it becomes commoditized. And then there's less value. And then that's why you see the $7, $8, $9 a unit.
I just saw $4 a unit the other day for VO med spa.
It's crazy. It's such a competitive space. But you know what that does to a business? Your margins just get eaten into. 40% of your cost of the product, of the syringes, of the cost of Allergan. So really, you're only netting 60%.
If that.
And if you're paying someone, they're taking more of the margin. So your gross sales are going to look great, but what are you netting from that? So my point is, like when you're starting a med spa, it can't solely be based off of injectables and filler. We all know those things are always at the top. They're the most sold things. It's what everyone wants. But that's why after a year or 2 in business, a nurse med spa, they're eventually going to be ready for a hydrofacial, a laser. Some IPL device, right? Because it's all net revenue if it has no consumables. You get busy with laser hair removal. Laser hair removal is also a commodity and you can get it anywhere. But you're busier with laser hair removal. There's no cost to that.
Exactly.
Other than paying your person to do it. But if you're doing it and you're solo and you're small, that's the best way to grow. Yeah, there's a high cost to it. But
I mean, I do my laser, for example, and a lot of people get at me for this, but I make it super affordable. We do $199 a month for 3 areas. Like
Love that. Yeah.
monthly, at 4 to 6, depending on the area, they come in for between 4 and 6 weeks, but it's a monthly membership to get paid.
Flow of revenue.
So they come in and it's just,
you limit it to areas.
So it's one large, one medium, one small. So they could do large area for me is full legs. I don't do like the half. I think that's cheap. Like we're doing your legs, we're doing your full legs.
Picking some legs.
Yeah, like we're not.
Can do your knees, not your ankles.
Yeah, like, I don't do that shit. So we'll do like legs, bikini, underarms is usually like the way people like to go. That's like the most popular package that people do. $199 per month breaks down to $63 a treatment. Per area. You can't find that cheaper. It's my gateway drug. That's what I tell everyone. Laser hair removal is a gateway drug. You come in, you get to know us, and the next thing you know, you have a membership for something else.
Totally. I love how you said $63 a month, because that's something I try to educate newer practices on. Because like I said, you're a salesperson now. You've got to be great and sell your treatments to your patients, right? And it's tough to sell those high ticket, those $2,000 to $3,000 packages, right?
Yeah, people aren't going to buy. I find that my mom back in like the 90s and like early 2000s had her salons, and that was very big with buying series. So you would buy 12 Brazilian bikini waxes at whatever cost it was. Let's just say
$5,000 back
whatever,
in the day.
Yeah, whatever it was. So let's just say it was like $1,000. I find now if I was to do that with laser hair removal, people don't have the money to say, okay, I'm going to spend this large portion of money with you up front.
Yep.
They would prefer to come in and see it on their account once a month. So they go, oh, the first of the month, Bloom charged my card. I got to book my appointment. Okay, I gotta do that.
I gotta use that.
And it like gets them in this mode to get in the door versus like selling them a series. Maybe they do 2 and they don't come back and they're like, well, I still have hair. I'm like, well, you didn't do the treatments.
Totally. Yeah.
You know, I think it creates a little more of a commitment and a partnership between the consumer and me. And I think that works better for my business.
I always build this conversation into patient financing too. And, you know, I know some of those companies are shit and steal your money too. And they say we take 3%, really it's like 18%, whatever it is. But it's hard to sell those $2,000 to $3,000 packages. So, but if you get good, something that can help providers, if you're a med spa struggling to sell and someone faints when you tell them it's $2,000-3,000, when you tell them that, then it kind of feels like a retail sale that the client feels the pressure when they're checking out. It's awkward. You're friends. You have that good relationship, but they don't want to say, I don't got the $2,500 to give you for this treatment. Well, I always tell my practices, get good and craft the skills of explaining patient financing. And if it's not $2,000, it's $80 a month, no interest for 6 to 12 months. If that's the promotion Cherry Financing has or whatever, plug XYZ patient financer, there's a million of them. But the thing we have to understand is patients are already buying like that. Everyone's going to Macy's and buying the $1,000 purse and they're financing it for $40 a month.
Yeah, everyone's using like Affirm or whatever.
I mean, you buy a fucking Amazon thing. Affirm is at the bottom when you instead of spending $80, you can Affirm $9 a month.
Or Amazon credit card, save $1,000 off your order, and we'll do whatever for you.
Yeah, but I'd like to see what the stats would be if like how many people would have purchased if someone just offered you can finance your Botox that you're getting for, instead of $1,800, it's $65 a month.
Yeah, Care Credit. A lot of people use Care Credit. Yeah. It's a credit card. It's through their own. At Bloom, we just started taking like a finance company. I think we're using Cherry now.
Cherry's good. Cherry's popular.
But I haven't had a problem with clients like purchasing the large amount, but I have like in-house financed some that were clients that were really good, have spent a lot of money with me. Yeah. And then they're like, hey Lex, could I pay 50% now and 50% in like next month? I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. Like I try to be flexible with people, but I don't want med spas to do that because you're not a bank.
Yeah.
You don't want to
you become a bank, you realize banks struggle and it's one of those people
There's
start
no buyout.
defaulting,
There's no buyout.
Gotta go collecting that money in North Reading with a bat.
No.
What?
I'll just send Drew up.
Hey, you owe Alexis. You are $50.
No. I'd just be like, just keep it. It's fine. I don't even want to do it.
We got to get these posters on the wall. These posters.
Oh, the ones over here?
God, I love that Pulp Fiction poster.
And Nick has good style. Truthfully, everything in here, no lie, when we built the studio, was done within, 48 hours?
Yeah.
Quick decisions.
No. Like it was like it had to be done. We had an event, and nothing in this room was put together. Not one thing was put together before the event. It was 48 hours before.
Pressure makes diamonds.
That
deadline.
was built. Yeah. Nick and I were painting these cabinets ourselves. I'm not even kidding. He's like, "Oh, I'll do another coat while you go downstairs and finish your client." I'm like,
see, I bought my house in September. We got nothing on the walls, not one thing.
I don't have nothing on my wall. I just bought my house in November. Still nothing on the wall. I don't like anything on the walls, though.
You got your house off market, right?
I did.
How did you finagle the bagel on that?
So to be honest with you,
I'm sorry. I could do a whole other podcast with this guy just on sale. Like he talks exactly like. It just reminds me.
Isn't it good?
How does one?
I just love sales. It's my favorite. It's my favorite thing in the world.
And it's if sales.
And I really, really, really love good salespeople because I understand the struggle. I get it. And I was 19 making 150 grand a year while 50-year-old men who worked with me.
Too, that was a lot of
they
money.
were saying, okay, easy. It wasn't that long ago, kid. Jesus Christ
Back in
almighty.
94.
Listen, tight. That's when I was born, but thank you.
Same.
It's all right. Those pants are a little too tight, I guess, to constricting the blood to your head.
Blood flow to the brain.
Yeah, there you go. See, it's like the same wavelength. Like when you're like, you know what I mean? I just love it. I don't think
sales, I think that you have to have some sort of humor and everything when you have sales because, you know, it is a grind and you're constantly going and, you know, you need to make light of it, have a good time. But at the end of the day, like you got a job and you got a number to make.
Totally.
You know what I mean? So we can have all the fun and things all we want, but like
that don't pay the bills.
Yeah,
but it kind of does. In some ways.
Sometimes.
But it like humor is the default. Like life is fucking hard.
Yeah.
And it's really sad.
In general, it's fucking sad. Life is mostly losing and pain.
Mm-hmm.
We just started this podcast talking about a triple homicide.
Right. I mean, life is tough, dude. Like, you gotta make fun with it. I grew up roofing in Brockton, Massachusetts with my dad, and we grew up poor. And the funnest time is on the job site. You know, this isn't related to sales, but like
it is though.
When right, like it is, and it's like what you make of it, and you know.
Well, it shapes who you are. So you come from a rough-ish or whatever downtrodden background, and you use that to your advantage, as opposed to playing this victim and being like, oh, everything's against me. You say, no, these are my superpowers. How do I utilize them to my benefit?
You're spot on, man. I have this conversation with my siblings all the time, and if they hear this, they'll probably piss them off. But we all have those, you know, friends, siblings that are woe is me, victim. Oh my God.
And your siblings are very different than you. We've had this conversation before.
Very different. But if I hear the word trauma one more time, I'm just going to jump myself. I'm going to jump.
I can't.
But it's so...
I don't buy it. I don't buy it because honestly, okay, listen, that sounds very terrible of me for everyone that's going to view this. I don't care. But, you know, I think that everyone now identifies themselves with their trauma versus saying, you know, in this moment, that was really traumatic. That was a very traumatic experience. They're like, the trauma changed my life. Get over it. I don't know. I grew up in a household where if you fell, you got up, you shook it off, and you kept walking. You didn't cry. You know, that's just like the tough love that I had. Like my mom was like, you want to move to Jersey? You want to move by yourself? It's going to fucking suck. Get up, go to work every single day. You're going to fail. You're going to cry, but I'm telling you it's worth it. And I did it and it was good.
And it's okay to cry.
Yeah.
Well, you have to.
The guy who cries says that.
You have to be able to process the emotions. What's not okay is to cry all the time, constantly. In front of other people. Like, you know what I mean? You need to learn how to process it on your own. Not to go on, I'm sorry.
No, good.
Take it away. But like my dad, who's a master salesperson,
he's fantastic.
He is a master salesperson, taught me that everything negative, everything that you think is negative, every trauma, everything that went wrong in your life, you have to have a mindset shift, make them your superpower. So I was always the loud class clown kid. Now it's my superpower. I was always the chubby kid. Now, you know what I mean? Bears are in. What can I say? Like everybody loves a big boy. Like, you know what I mean? Like you have to own it. You have to be like, yes, not only am I a big boy, I'm the best big boy out there. So you're lucky that I'm even in your presence.
The best big boy out there.
But you know what? It's either that, because it's either that or you just have to cry and be like, everybody calls me fat. Like, you know, I don't give a shit anymore. I am who I am. Either take it or leave it. And if I'm doing sales, you're not here to buy me. You're here to buy my product or service. So let's talk about that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think that a lot of people are this woe is me. And I think this generation is really big on it. I don't understand it because maybe it's just because I didn't grow up that way, but you didn't grow up that way either. Like your dad was roofing and doing all this shit.
When it's all you know, it's almost like it's not their fault, but we know it is your fault if you're in this echo chamber of I went through this and this is hard. But it's all about perspective. I just did this thing in January. Because I have my goals printed on my dashboard, personal goals and like work goals. So when the day fucking sucks, and it's not like you're always looking at them. You're like, yeah, it's there. You see him every day. You see him every day. So when you're having that fucking shitty day, it's 2 p.m. and you want to fucking kill yourself. You see these goals. But I did another thing. I love history and I love, it's all about perspective, right? So I was thinking, me and my dad were talking and I was like, my grandpa, he died in 2011. I loved my grandpa. He was the greatest dude on earth. He was born in 1924.
Yeah, mine was born in 22.
That means when he was like 10, my niece is 10 right now. It was the year 1934, the Great Depression.
Yeah.
And my grandpa grew up in
it sounds like a skinny version of me. I'm sorry to interrupt you,
this
but
is literally,
me.
I know.
It's literally
insane,
my
right?
life. Go ahead.
That means when he was 10, it was 1934. People were smaller because they didn't have enough food to eat. But I was thinking, and my grandpa's family home is where he grew up in, where he died in 2011 and all that stuff. And we were going through his old stuff. We saw this picture of the whole family on the front lawn. And I was like, me and my brother were talking about how crazy it would be to grow up in that era. And we looked, he was drafted in World War II in 1942 as an 18-year-old, 5'6" Italian, 130 pounds. And I printed out his World War II draft card and put it on my dashboard. Yeah. And it's just that perspective.
And now it's all
Like
sun damaged, and I'm just kidding.
Yeah, now it's all crinkled up and messed up.
It's so funny. I'm sorry. Just one more thing. My dad was also a roofing contractor, so I just think it's funny.
That's so
But I'm not
funny.
even kidding. Like, it's
a unique,
literally the
That's
same.
so funny.
It's in your DNA, right?
The only thing that's different between me and this kid, because I'm Italian too, is that he has better metabolism. That's about it. That's about it. That's about it. I can wear tight pants too. You know what I mean?
I just hate myself, so do a lot of push-ups, and that's what keeps me skinny.
But I think that now, I don't think people understand how hard it was then. Because like my grandmother is an immigrant from Greece, and she's 96 right now, and she's kind of like lost most of it mentally. But prior to, she would explain to how she was shifted into these concentration camps because like Nazi Germany the Nazis took over like where she was living, and like she would say how the SS soldiers would rape all the little girls.
Yeah.
And she would talk about how awful it was. And she would say, my grandmother was a hoarder, really bad. And honestly, it's from this, like from that whole life, her life going through that. She would always save bread. And she said to me, I remember when I was a little girl that there was one piece of bread and we didn't know what to do with it. So we didn't want to eat it because we felt bad. So we cut it into crumbs and gave it to all the little babies first. I'm sorry. I don't know a 10-year-old that would do that now. Do you know, they're so disconnected from like human interaction because it's so technical now.
It's parenting.
But is it safe to say that rep that was crying in your lobby because she was having a hard time selling, and her nice outfit, her nice car that's paid for, the gas that's paid for, the coffee that's paid for, she's crying in front of you, right? It's
perspective though too.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's different. Obviously,
Very.
It wasn't. Everything's relative.
We're products of our environment. Totally.
Yeah.
So, but the point of this, it's easy to complain about life being hard. But if you keep that perspective and tell yourself, like, dude, I met a lady who owns a med spa now. I met her like a month ago, and she bought one of my devices. And when I met her, her ethnicity, she's Cambodian. And that's usually what I'm like, if someone's different than me, it's like the first thing you talk about, your appearance and who you are, where you came from. And the first thing we within 2 minutes of meeting each other, we're talking about the Cambodian genocide that happened in the 70s. And I was like, because I knew her age group and stuff like that. And she was like, oh my God, you know about that? I was like, well, tell me about your upbringing. And she was like, I had to move to the US, and I was taken from my mother and father. It was like a movie. The communist regime came into our village in our little straw houses when I was 8 years old. She was swimming in a pool. She came up from the water and saw these military men wearing red, because they would wear red, I guess, to intimidate people. It was scarier to wear red military when they were invading people. And they ripped her away from her mom and dad and sold her into child labor camps.
That's insane.
Now she's selling Botox to people who want to look prettier.
Yeah.
She has fucking made it.
Yeah.
So it's just keeping that perspective. But when I say sales isn't acting, it's not acting. It's, you know,
I think
and there
it's
are days.
relationships. I think
Totally,
that you need to learn. You need to be a people person.
Yes.
If you are not someone that can talk to people, sales is not something that you should be doing.
Yeah.
You need to have some level of empathy with people and understand their situations. But I think what's crucial and what you do, and since you do like history, you can have these conversations that make people relax.
Totally.
It's not a tense conversation about buy my device, it's $300,000. You know what I mean? And go through this whole rigmarole of shit that goes with that. You're focusing on just, hey, like you're a real person, I get it. And this is gonna cost a lot of money, but like this is how we can work on this together and I can help you out in this and this and this way. You know?
Totally.
And I think that having that positive mentality and seeing your grandfather's draft card, you're like, listen, this could be a hell of a lot worse. You know what I mean?
Could have been drafted to fight Hitler in 1942.
Can you imagine what that was like?
Could you fucking imagine?
My grandfather was a turret ball gunner in World War II, so he dropped the bombs on the bottom.
God.
He was a little I think he was like 5'6", 120 pounds,
They're
not
all
even.
5'6", 120,
Yeah,
everyone.
Like they're just tiny
Everyone.
humans. And he was just like in the bottom
Just
of the
destroying
plane, just
people.
like dropping bombs and shit. I just can't imagine
You
like
can't.
the
But
devastation he saw and like being able to have a family.
the baseline for your average person back in the day was just shit. But to them, it was, is their life.
My grandmother never went past the 8th grade. She was a factory worker her
Started
whole
working.
life. Yeah, she worked for Simmons Mattress and Medford, and
okay,
she
okay.
built
Yeah, yeah.
mattresses. That's why today she gets in fights with me about mattresses all the time because she thinks they're made so cheap now.
Dude, talk about mattress, but they're so expensive.
I spent $5,000.
Dude, I just
and
spent
I risked returning.
$3,800 when I bought my house. I bought a mattress couple. It hurts my body.
Yeah.
Why does my mattress hurt? I can't figure it out. I'm on the couch.
I returned it. I returned my mattress. So they say if 30 days.
Yeah.
So I went to Jordan's. I buy the nice one.
Yeah.
My mom says the Beauty Rest Black is the best. I'm
Gotta
like,
get the
all
Beauty
right.
Rest Black.
I got it. $5,000. Fuck me. I'm an idiot. So I buy it.
Yep.
Third thing breaks in. Now Rob is like you, tall and skinny. Like I'm not a giant person. Why is there craters in the bed 30 days later?
Why?
Why?
Because they
Why?
all make it. They form to your body.
No, I don't want it to form. I want it to stay.
It can be it. It doesn't have to be me, okay? Don't form to my body. What the
Just
fuck?
stay a mattress. So I return it. The new one I got, same thing happened. So I go, F this. I put that one. They don't do anything for you after that. They're like,
No.
oh, tough shit.
But
I
also,
went to Big Lots and bought I think I got it on sale for like $150.
Yeah.
Best thing ever.
How and why? Dude, it doesn't make... You know what my thing is, though? I can't... I'm not the person who returns shit. If I buy something, it's there forever. The hassle of having to return something, never mind a fucking mattress, just forget it. Even if
just
they got to
called.
come over and pick it up, I don't...
Yeah, they did everything. I didn't do anything.
Right.
I just called and I was like, this is ridiculous. And they were like, oh, no worries. We'll take care of it. But the next one, you stuck with.
Dude, it's so bizarre. We spent $3,800 on this mattress. It fucking kills my body. And I'm like, is it the deadlifts that hurt my fucking back? What is going on? Why am I? So I sleep in the little twin bed, the little creepy twin bed in our guest bedroom that we bought in a fucking mattress off Wayfair, who does, fucking human trafficking. And it costs literally $120
that
for this
been,
mattress,
like,
and it doesn't
legitimately
hurt my
proven?
body. Yeah, on Reddit.
I was gonna say I read on Reddit that the
true.
names of the names of the products were correlated to names of children.
I don't know, dude, but there's probably some unique baby names we can get from them doing that, because the names are crazy from the rabbit hole I went down on. I don't know if it's true or not, but they're
I
right
love
here.
the conspiracies, and I love that
they're
you
so good.
also are into conspiracy
They're also
theories.
right here in Boston, aren't they?
I think they're.
Wait,
Nick, are they based in Boston,
I
Wayfair?
believe so, yeah.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
headquartered here.
So I feel like I don't know. I say I love conspiracies, but most of the conspiracies that I believe in are
They're
and
becoming
true.
true. Yeah,
Like it's
yeah.
not even like I'm this crazy like conspiracy theorist. It's like
Speaking of that, isn't the JFK files that they're saying they're coming out?
Epstein comes out today. JFK is in a couple of weeks. JFK, MLK, RFK.
I'm
So,
interested,
what
Nick.
was
What do
his
you
name?
want to...
What was his name? The guy that is the FBI director now.
Cash
Oh.
Patel.
Yes,
yeah.
he was saying that he
Tough guy.
read the file for JFK, and he
Yep.
said it's not what people think at all.
Because we want it to be something.
We
want it to be
be
juicy
more than
and
what it
crazy.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, what do you think happened?
I don't know. I'm curious to Nick.
What?
Would you rather find out the JFK files or the Epstein list?
Epstein. All day.
Epstein all
list.
day.
Yeah,
Epstein.
me too.
Not that
Me too.
JFK doesn't matter.
Do you think he's dead? Do you think
JFK?
he really? Do you,
No,
no,
I'm just
no, no. Do you think?
JFK, I know.
Oh no, that's different.
JFK was on video.
Yeah.
That one.
But do you think Epstein actually killed himself? Like actually killed himself? I don't think.
I think he's dead. I definitely think they fucking killed his ass.
Oh yeah, there's no question.
I mean, it's
See,
like
I don't think so. I think he has
What?
so much money.
Yeah, we're not talking about Elvis here. Okay, we're
talking
not talking about Elvis. We're talking about the guy
R.I.P.
who
Elvis.
wasn't even really, in my opinion, a human. He was the
It was a plant.
He was a bank account, if you think about it, right?
Yeah.
All he was a figurehead that was the go-between, whatever. So if you eliminate him, they thought, right, the big whatevers, they thought that they would just, it's like closing a bank account. You're done.
But like, what about
what's
Ghislaine
on?
Maxwell? She's just like
She's in jail. What do you mean?
Yeah, she's
Ghislaine
just
20, right.
I listened to that whole thing. You know,
Can we get her on the phone?
yeah. Can you imagine? We just
Start
like
snitching.
Collect call from.
By the way, she was found in Sutton, New Hampshire. Where I
yes,
went
in
to
$1
college.
million mansion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to
It was a
school
downgrade
10
for
minutes
her.
from her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
But
There you go.
I like. What is the plan? Did you see the initial list?
Drew's on the flight logs. I'm just kidding.
Let's keep those hidden.
Sorry, kid.
No.
You called me old, so like I gotta fight back a little bit. You know what I mean?
Got him. Got
I
him.
don't. I think it's like it's absolutely wild. I mean, we don't even really know exactly what went on there. Do we? No. We have an idea
And we've
that there
seen
was
like
children.
there's been Netflix documentary. That's the scale it's on.
I hate
It's
the
so
Netflix documentaries about everything. Like we don't have anything on the Luigi Mangione kid, the guy that killed the
that's gonna
CEO.
be-
They
that's
already
gonna
have
be
documentaries out. Who is Luigi Mangione? Like you're just asking questions we're all asking right now anyway. Why are you making a movie about it? you
Okay,
know?
but how about that Aaron Hernandez one? That story does not get screamed about enough. Fucking kidding me? By the way, the ending of it is he was gay.
Yeah.
He was hiding that.
Yeah, don't mess with the
was-
gays. Don't mess with the gays.
And his attorney
Let me-
was the first openly gay attorney in the state of Massachusetts.
Let
and
me
he
tell
said
you,
that he came out. to
I
it.
met him at a club,
Shocker.
Yeah.
and he was he was.
Of course he was nice to you. He didn't
was
like
the
you.
nicest-
He liked
I know.
Rob, who was
No.
there.
No, I was with a bunch of my guy friends, and I was like, they were all in the bathroom, and he was like, "Hey, like, come over to our table." So like, we all went over there, and he was like super, like, there was nothing, like, you could definitely tell, like, he was into some shit, like, he was shady, but I mean, it wasn't anything that was like alarming,
Like
it wasn't
murder.
Yeah, it wasn't like anything.
It's not like, oh, that guy
Well,
seems
no,
like
but
he'd
wasn't the-
shoot you in the head.
Wasn't the story that his boyfriend or whatever was gonna tell people
Yeah.
about stuff or whatever, and he was like, "No, you're not."
Well, I think that's not his boy. I think Odin Lloyd, which this is the craziest part of this story.
Oh my God, I
that
love this
doesn't get
podcast right now.
The fucking
Not his boyfriend. Go
First
ahead.
of all,
Go ahead.
it's his. Okay, Odin Lloyd dated Aaron Hernandez's girlfriend's sister, who
Sure.
are twins,
Sure.
which is fucking
Right.
nuts. And the one sister is in court supporting Aaron Hernandez, who she has a kid with, or kid on the way. And the other sister believes he fucking murdered my boyfriend. And she's caught on video disposing of the murder weapon in his house in fucking Attleboro. I mean, that dynamic right there. Imagine being sisters and your boyfriend gets murdered by I can't even keep up with it. By your sister's boyfriend,
Your brother-in-law.
who's a Patriots player for the greatest team of all time. Are you kidding me?
That.
And who's gay?
He's gay.
But like, what's the problem with being gay? I'm so confused. Like,
It's
why?
just-
Why is it such a bad thing? Is it just
Why
because
is what
he's-
such a
No,
bad
it's
thing?
not. It's
why
just
is it
shocking.
Everyone's like he's shocked that he's gay. Like, who cares?
No,
Like,
no,
Yeah, but I
no
think
one
it
cares. It's just-
culturally, like you come from a certain background, and it's very.
I
like,
also think he's like this big buff
emasculating.
football player.
Right, that's
and,
what
like,
it is. It's just
everyone thinks he's
surprising.
hot. I'm sorry.
Right.
I thought he was
was a stud.
Beautiful.
Stud.
Most gay
beautiful.
guys are very attractive.
Yeah.
All of them are.
Beau-
What? No, this guy is an absolute stud. He's getting
Let's keep
arrested.
Drew. Let's put Drew in the little
He's
cabinet
getting
right there. We'll keep him.
arrested. But and then you're, dude, you got Bill. Robert Kraft was in court under testimony,
Yeah, with his.
having to be
Saying-
like, and I guess Robert Kraft loved him, and he'd kiss him every time he saw him.
Maybe
like,
they
'cause
were doing
like
it.
His son.
Yeah, and then when Aaron Hernandez got sent to jail, Robert Kraft was like, "All right, I'll hit up that massage parlor. I guess I got nothing left."
I mean, what an insane story that doesn't get screamed about enough. Kraft just in massage parlors. Aaron Hernandez he killed 6 people.
Was it really sick?
6. He shot a guy in the head, and the guy survived. How? How do you survive?
My uncle shot a guy in the face and he survived. He only went to jail for a year too.
Was he friends with Aaron?
No.
Is that why you guys were there?
He did. He shot a guy in the face, and in court, the guy like was fine and like in court with him.
He's like,
and
yo,
the guy was
I'm
like,
good.
if he didn't shoot me in the face and kill me, like I was, because the guy was like trying to attack him.
Right.
So the reason why my uncle went to jail was because he had a gun with no license, and it was the year that passed. I forget what year that was in Massachusetts. So if you had an unlicensed gun, it's a 1 year. In jail.
You're in prison forever. Yeah.
Well, 1 year. That's all I got. 365 days. And then he was on work release, so he like really wasn't there that long. So, but when they were in court, the guy was like, if he didn't shoot me and put me down, I would have killed him. And the judge goes, okay, no worries.
Shit.
We're just going to give him 1 year for having the illegal gun. And that was it.
I met a guy recently, when you meet people and they tell you the craziest thing right away and you're like, is that a lie?
I love this.
But this guy told me that he was shot in the face. He has a crater in his face. Makes sense. And I was like, how does one get shot in the face? What
Usually
happened?
when the gun's aimed at their
Well, he
face.
grew up in like Roxbury in the hood, and he had some beef with this kid, and this guy, they got into a fist fight, and the guy shot him. And then he told me they're like, might get a Netflix show, and The Rock was going to play him and stuff like that. And I'm like, there's no way. And he showed me the script that was written for this. And he actually chose not to move forward with it. But the craziest part of the story is he ended up being he's a prison guard at Walpole State Prison. And the guy that shot him, who was doing like a long bid,
Is at Walpole.
was at Walpole. And this guy lost his job for beating his ass in prison because he shot him in the face.
That's insane.
You can't make this shit up.
You can't.
Massachusetts has a lot of really weird, like, issues.
We grew up in a unique state.
Right?
Yeah.
I feel like every
Unique
other
is a way to put it. Yeah.
But there's a lot of like high profile, like
lot.
the Karen Reed shit. That's every. I'm
Karen Reed thing is insane.
Yeah.
Do you think she did it? I don't. There's no way.
honestly,
I am all in
care.
on she's out. Yeah, some
I
people
don't care. I don't
Right.
care if she did or didn't. I think that it was.
Where's that Doge going in auditing
Well,
all the
that's the
amount
thing,
of
right?
money that's
Sure.
going into
So,
this bullshit? Right.
I don't believe that it's right to kill people. Obviously.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, it depends. Keep it up. Anyway, so I think I don't think that it's right to kill people, but I also think that there is a process that needs to be followed. And when you infringe on people's rights, or if you just blatantly screw up and only do half of your process, then the person goes away, like gets off scot-free.
That's it.
And so it's really on the police department. Just because a policeman could have been the person that did something, you just don't investigate him to protect your buddy.
I just
so
feel
that's
that,
like, you know what I mean? Like that's the
yeah.
part of it where I'm like, hey, listen, it sucks that the guy's dead, but you can't infringe on her rights.
You can't, because that
No,
opens the
but
door
I
to do
also-
it to.
I also
If she
feel like-
did it, then do the investigation the right way, investigate everybody, and it'll still come out that she did it. That's all.
But I just feel like there's too much that piles up not against her. Like the Wi-Fi password, like the Wi-Fi thing going at her house. Like
too
she
many
connected to her
questions.
house. Like
The
tail light wasn't broken in the video.
No bruises on his body that
No.
would indicate it was a car. Dog bites clearly on his.
The renovation to the house on
Why'd
the
you
inside.
renovate your house?
But you never went in the house. Why?
Why'd
Hold on.
you renovate
Here's the
your
biggest
house?
thing. Here's the biggest thing.
Why'd you get rid of your dog
Hey,
the
guy,
day after?
that's the biggest thing I was just gonna say.
But
you don't
so
get
this
rid
is
of
my
a
point.
dog.
These questions just didn't even get asked
Where is
until the trial. So the whole judicial system in America is based on reasonable doubt. So if there is a question, then you're
Then
not
you're done.
guilty.
You can't go to prison forever.
So now they're
Right.
if there's reasonable
now they're
doubt.
retrying her. But what's confusing me is why are we spending all this taxpayer
much
money?
money.
You can't tell me
Right
if
in
you're from
Dedham
that
Court.
area.
Right in Dedham Court. You
No.
drive through it. It's like a fucking. The amount of
Zoo.
money going into this is
My friend
insane.
George owns Dedham House of Pizza, and he goes, "Listen, this has been the best
No
thing."
way. Hold on. I know George.
Yeah.
He's Greek, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean that's a gift.
Yeah.
But I think
No,
I know. I know.
Chinese.
Does George also do like real? Does he all?
Yeah.
George, the Chinese pizza shop owner in
Right.
Dedham. I know this guy.
Hey, buddy, down the
No,
street,
I've
Nick's
known
place
him-
is
but
run by Indian people.
he's,
So
he's cousins with one of my former colleagues at Lumenis from Chicago, I believe. Does he also do real estate and things like that? George guy?
I think he does. He
The
dabbles
total-
and stuff.
yeah.
I don't know. He's a little bit. He's
Anyways,
typical Greek.
The point
dabbles.
is, he's killing his business is getting
Killing
a
it.
surge of business because people are in Dedham, right? Like,
Yeah, there are all these reporters are outside.
need
get
that
a nice
pizza.
slice
If you're,
of pizza.
you're protesting for Karen Reed, you need a slice of pizza.
But I have clients that come in that downstairs that are like I think she didn't do it. They're on
Here-
like pages about it. Like it's like they're so invested, and I'm like, why? You know what I mean? Like,
because we love to
There's
be
literally
pissed.
there are
We're
literally murder trials that go on every single day in
Yeah.
Massachusetts. Why this
why
one?
is she?
Because she's a pretty girl,
Is
you know,
she?
depending
Is
on your
she? Is
type.
she?
I mean, you know.
I
Okay,
wouldn't-
well now we know what
Not
you
my
like.
type. Yeah.
Oh.
Hey, 40, 45 and, you know, weathered. My favorite jokes.
You,
but the
did
point
you
is,
see what she looked like
she-
from the beginning of the trial to now, though?
No, it's
like
she's
stress
going
is
under
not
some
doing her
stress.
so
Yeah.
hot. Like I feel
but
pretty
like
bad.
this girl is most likely innocent. And imagine, I mean, she had a professional career.
Yeah, imagine her life after this. Done.
There's just not
No,
enough
it's
evidence.
civil suit. and
But
then
also,
the-
why is the
Yeah, but how is she gonna? She's never gonna get a normal job.
Never.
Never.
No, civil suit for millions, and then she'll
Right.
be all right.
Oh,
But
yeah.
If
also
she got 30 mil from the town of Dedham, she'd be all right.
I think there's enough evidence to support that there's systems in place that are actually going to prop her up now and like help her out with things like that. Not just
Yeah.
civil suit money. Like there's got to be services
Yeah.
when you're wrongly convicted and then you get out of it or you don't get convicted and you're clearly innocent, which we all think. Like there's got to be systems to help this.
I don't know. I
this
still
girl.
go
Crazy.
based on the whole. Even if she's not innocent, like I don't care. They didn't do their job the right way.
Totally.
It
If you
just
put
seems
this woman
really
in jail,
shady.
if you put this woman in jail without doing the proper investigation and bringing the correct evidence to light,
so fucked
you're literally infringing on all of our rights as the
So-
public. It's a big deal. Like it's really a big deal.
bunch
So
of
we're gonna have another podcast, and we're gonna do,
Just
and we're gonna
Karen
do
Reed.
it on. I'm gonna have my two clients come in, and you have to hear their
Sounds
story.
like a fun one to edit. Go ahead.
No, oh,
I'm just kidding.
No.
Sorry.
No, it's yeah.
Keep adding people. Go ahead.
No, it's like crazy what they went through with like the cops in like Exeter, New Hampshire, which is supposed to be this corrupt police department.
Yep.
It's really wild to me that there's just like these certain departments that are just like,
Well, it only takes one person to allow
know, but, like-
bad shit to go on.
But the
to, like,
funny,
continue.
the funniest part is, it's like totally Massachusetts uncles that are all like. Doesn't it see when you hear about all the details, the way they're texting about her, the way they're like, they clearly went and picked up the fucking pieces from the car to hide the evidence, and like it's totally like as if my Boston uncle is just trying to cover up for his buddy.
yeah,
That's
it's
what it
not-
comes across
It's
as.
not very like stealthy. You would think for like
They're like,
being
just
in
get rid of
law
the dog,
enforcement-
get rid of the fucking dog.
Hey, you know, I was
won't
thinking
look
you need a new kitchen, buddy. Like you
buddy.
should renovate your house.
That fucking basement,
The
dude. I was
next
dying
day.
to get new floors down there. Like what?
But why would you not enter the house? Like, why wasn't that like?
Why
Because the
didn't he-
cops own the house.
No, I know that, but like,
No,
why
but that's the
wouldn't-
whole thing. Like, it's as if I'm a police officer and you supposedly, Rob supposedly committed a crime, and I just choose to investigate Rob, but not you.
But she's saying, it looks more sketchy that you never entered.
Yeah,
the
why-
That's
house.
like,
my
why
point.
wouldn't-
That's
like-
the whole point.
Right.
They didn't do their job. So even if she
Right.
is guilty,
She's
let her
off.
go.
Yeah,
That's
insane.
crazy.
let her go and
What other big cases do we have right now? Anything crazy?
Are you kidding?
dude.
Come
Everything's a big case right now. Look at everything that's going on in the world.
on. How do you feel?
Pick a spot.
How do you feel about the whole political climate right now? This podcast is going a little haywire,
What a
guys. But I'm
crazy
kind of
time.
loving it, so we're just gonna go with the flow and enjoy because this is fun.
What a crazy time. It's like you have to like almost like delete all your social media apps off your phone.
I feel like you can't have an opinion, especially being in this industry too. I feel like you have to tread lightly because there is 90% of the people that are in this industry do not agree with you or I.
Yeah, totally.
100%.
Yeah.
Like,
It's a crazy time, and I found myself like a month ago. I'm like, I'm gonna download Twitter or X.
oh my God.
Because everyone says that's like that, but I've never been into
fantastic.
Twitter. I never understood it, and now I'm like, wow, this is like constant fighting. It's a constant war zone. Whenever I want to get a little crazy, just log on to X and just watch crazy battles.
But people are nuts. So, for example, like Rob commented on something. I don't know what it was. I don't even know what the comments were. And the next thing I knew is this guy went on my business pages and commented on everything we had and was like, your husband's a wife, like a conservative wife beater. Like, how do you feel that your husband beats you? And I was like, what are you doing? And mind you, he's telling me that I'm all these mean things and his profile picture is Jesus. So I'm like, what is going on? People are like unhinged online right now. Like unhinged.
Yeah.
Speaking of unhinged people online, my Instagram feed is just young dudes who clean their apartments. Why? What is with all the cleaning ASMR as young men?
I was gonna
I
make a
don't
joke,
under.
but I'm not.
Your
Some-
algorithm is really weird, huh?
Dude, you'll see. Nick, am I making this up? All it is
no,
like
I said
don't
Nick,
don't bring me into this.
spend the day with me to look at my routine and clean. It's all cleaning.
Yeah.
It's all fucking cleaning.
Sure.
I don't get what's happening. So in all this craziness,
I have an idea.
It's all crazy political stuff. And then I open my Instagram and it's a young dude who's just cleaning a stove. Really.
Mine has been really weird lately. I sent Nick this video the other day that was like, let's normalize pregnant men.
Oh, please.
Absolutely. You better.
That's like the new thing. Honestly, okay. So
I'm 3 months in right now, okay?
Buddy, I've been waiting for mine to come out for years.
Buddy, depends on the mood I'm in that day.
Yeah.
Okay? I might be fucking pregnant tomorrow. I don't know.
Like, I don't understand why my algorithm brought that up, but I sent it to Nick.
Probably because you do ultrasounds.
I know, but like, I mean, what?
That is crazy.
I've had one guy come downstairs.
Yeah, you were telling me that.
He identified as a pregnant man.
God love him.
Asked for a pelvic exam. I don't even do those. Like to women, I don't even do that.
How about the government sex chat that just came out? Did you see that?
I didn't see this.
The orgy, the giant orgy they were
I
talking
did
about?
see that. Yeah.
They were, so they have like an internal, what's it called? Internal server thing where they can chat with each other across different.
Like teams.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
And they were literally organizing meetups and talking about transitioning and bottom surgery and.
Okay, this is what I don't understand about this. We've worked in big sales companies. We've gone to fun sales meetings, and we could do a whole podcast on what sales meetings are like.
They've also now all been fired, but go ahead.
But my thing is I've never been in a situation where working for a giant company that something like that's so weird to me. If someone was like, "Hey, like let's have this giant sex thing," I'd be like, "What the fuck?"
Well, I don't think it starts off that way. I think it's
how does that start? Like you get new hired, and you're like, "Hey, you want to become?
they
you want to be in the
treat
chat?"
They treat it like
What?
These elitists that have these like cults and sex rings.
well, yeah, but
Where
they
does
treat
it
they treat
begin?
these servers like it's a
Not that I want to be in it. I just want to know. Like I'm genuinely concerned.
Take me through the process.
it's texting. It's just it's like AIM. That's what it is. It's like
You're
just,
more
you know,
vulgar over text.
right? And so they talk about stuff they don't think that it's ever going to come out, and then it does
in
and,
writing.
Well,
In writing,
they don't.
yeah.
They think it's just goes out into the ether.
It really
it's
is
not-
kind of like your bros group chat. You say
Right.
that's your safe space, to be honest. So you
Right.
can't-
Yeah. Here's the
don't
difference,
open
though.
it.
You're at work.
You're
okay.
famous.
On a
Like, well, no, it's not even the
server.
fame. This is all
Right, it's
just
anyone,
people
yeah.
on any level within the government. Like, first of all, you work for the people, and second of all, what happened to like when you're at work having a sense of decorum? Like you're at work. You're not there to make friends. You're there to make your paycheck and do your job.
Right.
Why are you having?
I'll
have
tell
a
you why.
conversation at 6 o'clock at night when you're home. Text the person if you want to.
I just think it's gross. I've never been that. Maybe that's prude of me or whatever, but I've never been one to like talk about my sex life. Like I just don't think it's like something that
It's
But it's nobody's
bizarre.
business.
bizarre.
professionally
It shouldn't
it's
be
just
normal.
so
Yeah.
weird to me. Like I've gone to sales meetings and like you know how it is. Like you're a young girl at a laser sales meeting, like you're targeted. Like you really, I mean, maybe not by you, but like you are. Like you 100% are. I mean, like I remember one company I worked for, they flew out, no joke, prostitutes to hand out pamphlets
Crazy.
to the other sales reps that were there to have like beautiful women like advertising their company. Wild to me. But
Sex sells. What are you gonna do?
But you were already work for that. Like, what are you doing?
You know what it is though, Nick? When you're like you're there to work, but I think people attach their identity to their work.
Well,
They get-
that's what it's been for the last decade or so.
What's the last office setting you guys worked in? An office setting is
I worked in
crazy.
finance for a big corporation, and I had an office with a
How
window and everything
bizarre
else.
is that
Never
office?
worked in an
No,
like
I mean
an
it was a
office
bunch
office.
it was a bunch of sales people.
But most people get their social entertainment in that office.
Like
The
a
difference,
cubicle?
Drew, what I'm saying
Yeah.
is it was the talking. We would there was
banter.
definitely locker room talk that happened, but it was verbal and not written in any sort of
Yeah.
chat or email that would be sent.
Right.
Every email, people always think that I'm so pissed off when I'm emailing them, and I'm like, no, it's just professional language. Like I'm just
So-
saying, this is what we need. Let's per my last email. You
Nick
love
makes-
the
Nick-
you love the per my last email.
Nick makes fun of me because I get really annoyed. So like I write an email and
I get bothered, too,
I get like
about anything.
I'm like so I'm a quick I'm
kill you.
I'm a chat GPT girl. I'll like take my terrible email that I know sounds like shit.
One of those.
And no, because
No,
well, let
she
me tell you,
refreshes. She
I
refreshes.
no,
Okay.
I write my whole thing and then
Right.
I put it in
Filter
ChatGPT
it
to like
through. Refine
they could
it.
sign it a little more professional.
A little
Like
refined.
per my last email versus you're a fucking idiot. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I try to like make it a little
Seen the
nicer.
meme that's like per my last email. It's like jab, cross, hook,
Yeah.
uppercut, per my last. But
It's just
holy
wild
shit.
to me. I can't imagine just like
you know what I always get? I think this is so strange when I hear it. Like the Hillary Clinton leaked emails. Whenever I hear about some crazy corruption happening over email, who the fuck emails malicious intent? I've
Idiots.
never had
Drew, idiots. That's who.
But, like,
idiots.
I've never been like mad at someone or mad at you and been like, I'm gonna fucking.
I can
like,
understand text threads, group chats, even Instagram.
No, I still-
email.
no.
Who's planning malicious major corruption over email?
I find it very funny that they've made technology so easy that like people don't. First of all, kids today, Gen Z, whatever it is, they don't know how to talk on the phone.
Right.
If
No.
like, and I deal with a lot of like young filmmakers. They'll be looking for locations. How do I get this diner to let me shoot the movie there? And I go pick up the phone and call the
Call
guy and say, "Hey, do you think this would be all right?" They can't
Yeah.
do it. They can't communicate with each other, and the only thing they do is text. So
yeah,
now
that's it.
everything they say
Is
is
in
in
text.
writing,
Yep.
and they're never going to be able to get around it in court or anything like that. And it's like,
100%.
well, it is what it is.
It's
What
all
do you
about
do?
being different. Related to sales, if you just, I tell reps, if you're just texting people thinking, oh, I did my job, I followed up with them, you're nothing. You're dead.
Yeah.
That is, they get so many texts per day. If you make a little shift, like I tell reps when you're prospecting, if you get someone's cell phone, and with respect to the business owner, I know some people roll their eyes at this. Don't text them, hey, was looking to meet with you, want to steal some, you're nothing.
Cringy.
Send them a fucking selfie at least in front of their door. Be a little bit different.
Yeah.
Hey, wanted to chat with you. I can't tell you how many times that's got, like, they just appreciate how it's different than some shitty self-serving sales text.
Here's another one. Leave a voicemail.
Always.
Yes.
Leave
Always,
a
yeah.
voicemail.
Humanize
because
yourself.
There's
Yep.
so many robocalls out there.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I don't
So
answer my
nobody ever
phone.
really
Yeah.
answers the phone. And
No.
in my opinion, I don't answer the phone. And if it's really important or if somebody's died,
Leave
you
me a
will
voice.
leave a message.
Yeah.
So leave me a message. And if honestly, I just got one. I'm not going to play it because I don't want to incriminate anybody. But there was a kid who was like, "Hey, I just got out of college. I saw your website, your company online, all that stuff. If you're ever in need of any help." I called the kid. I was like, dude, I will absolutely
It's
keep you in mind.
phenomenal.
He's like
Yeah.
19. I was so shocked. I'm like, I have to keep this kid's information.
Yeah.
I do feel like the younger generation, it's so easy to it's so easy to shit on them, but there is this wave of like those 19 to 21-year-olds that
Clueless.
actually they're starting to get.
I was just gonna say,
It
yeah.
always swings back. They're starting to get so sick of the artificial life they were embedded in growing up. I'm
That- I
meeting
have
so
that
many
right now
young
downstairs.
dudes around like in business that are like, they want the real authentic way of communication. It's coming back the other way, I feel like, don't you?
Yeah, well, I feel like there's like two sides. Like, and especially owning a med spa, like, I've had more receptionists than I, because it's the hardest position in a med spa to
really
hire.
tough.
It really
You
is.
need a superstar
It's the
there.
first
and they're so hard
person
find.
to,
Yep.
greet your clients, the last person to greet your clients. You can't look like shit. Sorry, it's a vanity business. You just can't.
But why would you
in
want
any
to
business.
anyway in
No,
any
but
any
a lot
business,
of people
yeah.
shit on that. They're like, oh,
Yeah, see, I feel like
when
I'm
you
over
interview,
the bullshit.
When you interview, like,
Yeah.
you can't be like that. No, I can. It's my business. Like,
Right,
I don't
sure.
have to. I don't have to employ you if I don't want to.
Standards.
Like,
Yeah.
it is what it is. But I had 2 girls work for me that would not answer the phone. They wouldn't even order food over the phone. They
That's
would
insane.
only order food through DoorDash.
Yeah.
I'm like, just call the pizza place, get it delivered. You don't have a fee.
Where are you from? Like, what town do you live in now?
I was born in, I grew up in
Okay, not the whole life story. Where do you live
so,
now?
okay, so I was born in this hospital. I live in Bedford, New
Okay,
Hampshire.
okay. Yeah.
45 minutes away.
He lives right near, not too far from
I
me.
just bought a house there.
Have you always been like this?
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
what?
Manic.
Manic? Yeah.
No, like
Yeah,
me,
always.
like
Yeah.
Jordan Belfort. Like this is.
Oh, yeah.
I was 5 years old and
Yeah.
I was doing the same.
That's
thing.
why I don't
You know
think
what I mean?
sales is acting. You are who you are, and the great people at it, they don't seem like they have to. But some days you do have to act. I get
And
it.
don't get me wrong, like you have to like learn. There is a
Yeah.
process
There
to
is
execute
totally
a
a
deal.
process. Yeah.
Like there is a process, but the
Overcoming
personality
objection.
wise, have you
Yeah.
always been this outgoing and everything else, or were you? Was there a?
No, I think when I
epiphany.
I grew up really like skinny and small, and I was
And
like
nothing changed.
and I was a piece of shit. No, but I grew up in a chaotic household, and I played a lot of sports
How many
and stuff.
siblings do you have? I forget.
I'm one of 4.
Yeah, so
that's
we have
With
a
a
lot.
10-year-old niece and
And-
a crazy Massachusetts family,
Are
divorce.
you the oldest?
No, I'm the second oldest. I'm in the middle.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Is the oldest a girl?
Nope, the oldest is my brother. We're Irish twins. My little sister's 2 years younger. My little brother is 5 years younger.
Interesting.
Yeah. But no, I grew up really docile and quiet until I was like 17 because I was just like made fun of a lot. Like, you know, growing up in Mass, not like bullied too hard, but like you get shit on and
Well, you
know,
just have to be quick.
right. You got to be quick.
Dude,
and
yeah.
it all
Don't take offense to it. You
my
said
whole
it,
life
whatever.
changed when I like just started exercising when I was later in high school, and you know, I don't know.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
What got you into aesthetic sales?
Money.
What
one
were
of
you
my
doing
no,
before?
not even one of
kidding.
my right, yeah, great money.
Commission.
One of my best friends that I mentored in my first sales career, he went and moved away. We both went and moved down south, and I took a management role in my first career. And he would call me we'd talk all the time because I was like his mentor. He's a couple years younger. He's like, dude, you got to get into aesthetic laser sales. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
What's aesthetics? You
Oh
keep
my
saying
God,
that.
He's the skinny
And he's
Melex.
like,
what
he's
the
like,
fuck? Where did
he's
you
like-
find this guy?
But he's just like, dude, you would love it. It was you were created in a lab to sell in aesthetics. It's so much fun. You'd love it. And I don't know. I just like learned it. But I kind of learned all.
Were you
the
always with
companies.
Lumenis though?
No, I started with a couple different competitors.
Who?
And well, I was going to work for Cynosure
Same.
in Florida. I
Tried
lived in
that.
Miami, and one of their big leaders got a hold of me and like, you know, wanted me to start there. And then
That's a tough market too.
tough, yeah.
Especially if you don't speak Spanish.
Goes back to being, you know, I said like big med spa. The advantage is your smaller business that's leaner, high end, premium, small menu. I think, where's I going with that?
Miami's big.
Miami's a big market. New York City's a big market. LA's a huge market. These big cities, people think it's an advantage, right? You become a commodity. You're in a crowded space, right? I think the advantage is being in fucking Mobile, Alabama, and being the high end product there, or North Reading.
Yeah,
you know,
off the beaten path.
Yeah, there's less competitors. There's one of you there. You know, in Miami, there's a whole lot of the same shit.
I think
there,
New England's
you know?
a difficult market in general, though,
Very.
because
Yeah.
of the culture of the people. So, like, if you can sell in Massachusetts,
You
you
can
can
sell
sell
anywhere.
anywhere.
Totally.
You know?
I used to train reps, and I used to always find it funny because the Connecticut rep would always get fired anytime they got hired, and I was like,
Connecticut sucks.
Connecticut's
Hate that
it's the
place.
hardest. I
It
will
is
say
the
it is
it's the energy there.
It is
It's
the
so
hardest
weird.
place I have to say to sell. I can sell in New York, Jersey, easy.
How about Rhode Island? Fuck, that's tough too.
Rhode Island, and they're the same.
place.
Rhode Island
Yeah.
and Connecticut have
They're
this
kinda
weird,
they're
like,
cousins. Yeah,
shitty attitude.
they're
that
New
you have to,
York
like-
mixed with Boston.
yeah, but like
with money.
with money and like no personality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like, oh, I'll buy your stuff.
My first sales job was I lived in Lebanon, New Hampshire.
Ooh,
Oh my God, my
far
friend lives
north.
there.
But
But
Yeah,
that was where our
That's not too bad.
That's
It's
where
right
our
near
no, no, but
Rochester.
that's where our branch was. My territory, you had to drive 2 hours just to get to. It was all up to the border of Canada, and I was
Oh, God.
23.
What were you selling?
Uniforms to like auto shop workers, floor
Okay.
mats, all that stuff.
I interviewed with Cintas.
Yeah, so that was our main competitor. I was
Yeah.
UniFirst, but
Oh my God.
where I was going with that is like I remember getting my first offer letter, and I was like, "You're gonna pay me guaranteed money every week to go out and talk to people? Like I would have done that for free. Like that's
Yeah.
crazy." And I didn't even ask questions, and like I had to. They didn't pay for hotels and stuff like that. I drove like 1,000 miles a week.
Oh yeah.
But to your point, you can sell in certain markets. You can sell anywhere. I went and moved to South Carolina because everyone was like, "Dude, you're too like New England for these people. You're gonna like they're really slow." And I'm like, "Shut up!" Like, you could like to your point, you
Yeah.
can sell here. You can go sell anywhere.
But
you
they
know?
like that. I find that when
They
I
love
was in
that.
Jersey, they
Yeah.
loved. They were like, "Oh my God, the Boston reps
people
coming."
love different than
Yeah.
them. People love they love what's different from them. So I agree. I think it's an advantage.
What state did you like the most? We're settled in New
This
Hampshire.
one right
We're-
here, right now.
We're loving New
in the
Hampshire.
present moment. Yeah, probably New Hampshire. I've lived in New Hampshire, Mass, South Carolina, Miami, and I would say probably New Hampshire just because it's,
It's so chill.
yeah, I love them. I mean, I love them all. But it's weird. You go to a place like Miami and you're like, oh my God, it's Miami. This is so cool.
Miami
You meet
grosses me out.
But
I'm
you
not
meet
gonna lie.
locals and they're like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, what do you mean? It's Miami. They're
No
like,
one that I find that a lot of my friends, even ones that have like a boatload of money,
yeah.
they stay in Miami because it's warm, but they're not Miami.
You know what it is? It's people where they're from hate where they're from. So when
Yeah.
you go move there, you're gonna find people who like, you know what I mean? You can
Yeah.
move to fucking London. And people would be like, what are you doing here? This place sucks. It's like the strangest thing.
It's cold.
It's weird. So when I see someone in New Hampshire, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing here? And then I'm doing it. It's weird.
I love New Hampshire. I think it's a different vibe. I don't know about selling in New Hampshire because I feel like New Hampshire's a very, very weird market.
Toughie. Yeah.
Because of they don't have.
It's less economy. There's less. It's harder for people to.
Maine's a fun sell.
Maine's tough.
My first sale in, I don't even remember where it was, in like East. I don't know if I've talked about this on my show. I was with my mom. We were selling hydrofacial, and it was this lady had a kitchen inside her med spa.
Love that.
And it was like a full kitchen with an island. And she's like, the reason why I built this is because everyone always, when you go to a party, goes around the kitchen island
to gather.
So I wanted that.
Smart.
So you walk in the lobby, then you see the kitchen, whatever. Then she has her aesthetic rooms. And so we're in there doing an event for hydrofacial, and there's this old woman, like rugged woman. And she looks at me.
Rugged.
Like bit in the bacon.
Weathered.
Yeah.
Maine.
Seasoned.
Leather.
Like, over seasoned. And she was super nice. And all of a sudden she goes, and I'm standing next to my mom. So like, obviously you guys know, like sex conversations make me like super uncomfortable because I'm like, oh, this is awkward. So this lady looks at me and she goes, I go, hey, so like, what do you guys do up here? Like, because there's literally nothing. There was mobile gas stations as lawn ornament signs.
That's all there is, yeah.
So I was like, what the hell? She goes, we F and F. I go, what's that? Mind you, the whole place is full of people at this event. She goes, we fish and fuck. And I was like, what? I was like, this is insane. She goes,
F&F,
yeah.
baby.
She goes, the camper is rocking. You don't come knocking. My skin looks great after coming here. You know what me and my husband are doing. And I was like,
Maine.
Mortified. And my
Maine.
mom's just looking at me, and I was like, oh my God, I just want to get out of here. But they're the nicest people, but they have no filter. Just like that's how they are.
Maine's a wild place, but it's hard to make money up there for anyone in general.
There's just the space is
more
just
rural. It's tough for people. So the people who do, you got to respect them. They're wild.
people in
motherfuckers.
Well, it depends on what you're selling too.
Yeah, it totally depends. You're
but
selling trees
skincare
up
up
there
in-
and logging. You're doing well.
Yeah, real well.
That's why.
Skincare's a little
If you're selling nuts to squirrels, you're good. You know what I mean? That's
No,
about
it's
it.
true. Shout out
selling
to
guns, anything else.
my
you can-
main customers that kill it. I'm like, wow, you guys are special. It's awesome. Being able to thrive up there.
It's all
Botox.
difficult. It's all difficult.
It's all
Because if you're in a
difficult
city, there's a
everywhere.
million salespeople and you're
Yep.
one of a million.
Yep.
If you're in
Yeah.
a rural area, the market is slow. Like there's always
There's
something
less
to complain
people.
about.
Yep.
But
And
the brain takes the path of least resistance, which is negativity every single time.
Yeah.
As somebody who's doing better than you is always getting spoon fed. Somebody's always
Yep.
better looking.
Always. They have the
Says,
better
whatever it is.
territory. They have the
Right.
better, they get the
How
leads.
about you just
It's-
work hard and sell your shit?
It's you versus fucking you. That's why you go to one med spa, one business, and
It's all the same.
one's doing great, one's doing terrible, and you notice the ones, some people have like that victim mentality. But same thing with salespeople. That's why I say we're the worst. It's like, dude, it's you versus you. It's the true merit based. It's truly, you can be anyone, anything, girl, guy, anything in
It
between.
doesn't matter what you are.
Yeah, it's a true merit. It's about, we have these preconceived notions. I used to think like, some female sales reps struggle here because they're selling to a lot of females, and but like, no, it doesn't matter.
I think where
it's
some
about you.
female reps struggle is their approach. So like the girl that came to me crying, right? You can't have that approach. You also have to look 10 times better. You're up against sale. Okay, being a female in laser sales, it's a boys club.
Totally.
It always has been. It will be. I mean, maybe hydrofacial is different now. There's more women that work in that company. But in general, it's always been a guy's game.
Yep.
You need to be able to be respected. You need to look the part. You need to go in there with factual information.
Facts.
Looks are great. You can look good and look put together, but sex isn't always going to sell with these big boy doctors.
Yep.
They've seen it all. They make bodies for a living, honey. Like
Great point.
they build ones that are way more beautiful than you. So you need to figure out how to look good, but also be smart and say, hey, listen, this is how my technology can help you. What's your business like right now?
Right there. Sorry, that's it right there. It's
practice.
wants
It's the-
and needs and
Yes.
listening to your client. That's what it is.
Yes.
But here's the other thing, Nick. It's listening, because people always say it's listening, but it's listening to understand. Because
Well,
I
no
can
shit.
listen all day, right? I'm not a therapist, though. It's my job to understand you. And I tell new reps, I'm like, understand the business, their practice, obsess over them. If you do that, then you'll have the confidence to recommend something that you have that fits them because you know them now.
Right, but what is sale? If you go to any sort of sales training from a product, like from the actual product company itself, they just give you a list of benefits or a list of things that it is, and then if you're a shitty salesperson, you go out and just start
Talk benefits.
spouting like
Mine does
whatever.
this and mine does that,
and
Well, does it
nobody
matter?
cares because
It
how
doesn't
does it
matter.
benefit me directly?
Facts.
That's the genius of the salesperson. That's why you're so good.
It's like going on a first date or just meeting someone. It doesn't have to be a
imagine
date, and they're just talking about themselves.
the entire time.
Die.
It's
I'm out.
Get away from me.
I'm out.
Get away from me.
And I'm, get away. So for real, it is. It's like meeting someone, and like, it doesn't even have to be a date. You meet a new buddy.
It doesn't matter what it
doesn't
is.
shut the fuck up about himself.
and doesn't ask you anything about you.
Nothing.
And you go, okay, well, I'm gone.
Everyone else is just quiet
And
listening
sales
to this person
amplifies everything because they're salespeople.
And they know it's high pressure, and they know that they want your money.
Go
so
in,
like, 100%.
Talk about
I
themselves,
love that.
talk about their product, and it's like, dude, if you ask questions and listen, they would have said, "I'm actually looking at this."
Right.
Yeah. Or I mean, when you're going into these med spas too, you might not know, or their website might not be updated as to what they already have.
Totally.
So just talking to them and saying, hey, listen, where are you falling short? Like, what do you have? What don't you have? What's going to make you different? Hey, I actually did some research for you. These places around you are already offering that. Maybe if we tried something different and use that in conjunction and to get better results, maybe that would boost your sales up and do better for you. Does that sound like something you want to try? And doing research about the area of that business too. Like you said, obsessing over that business. They don't do that. These new people think they're just going to go to a sales meeting, learn all the facts and be like, my laser's the best laser.
That will get you that will get you somewhere a little bit, but long term, you're going to just.
It'll get you the small places in Boston that are buying these to sell them overseas. That's what it'll get you. That's it.
You'll trip over someone who's, going to buy something every now and then. But I tell people, like, empty your mind, almost. Empty your mind.
And go into it asking questions.
Yes, asking questions to understand them. And you can only do that if you genuinely give a shit.
There it is.
You
Caring.
have to just
you
care,
have to care.
which is so simple. It's funny, like you get into like medical device sales is known as like the big leagues. Hate saying that. Hate when people say
It really
but
is.
it really is. But you think it's really prestigious and it's intimidating. You're selling to doctors and nurse practitioners and PAs, and the equipment's expensive and it's life-changing and amazing. And then you go walk into a place and you're like, how you guys been? Are you looking at anything? And, tell me about your practice. And then
what's your name?
and they say, like
When's
you
your
have a
birthday?
simple human conversation, and they're like, we're considering this new technology. Boom, you've got it.
I love it. I've walked away from people and said my product isn't for you, or it's not what you're looking for, and then I've recommended other people. I have no problem saying no to people.
I used to say no to salespeople all the time.
What you just said is the same exact thing you said about steering them away from a certain product. Someone might come in and want $2,000 worth of Botox or a CO2. Like someone called you for a CO2.
Yeah.
You recommend them into something after getting to know them.
Yeah, when she said to me on
you're
the
working
phone,
on their behalf.
Right.
You're basically their lawyer.
Yeah.
In between them and your company.
You're their broker.
But you
yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
But
to
you
find
need
the
to be,
solution.
because if you're not going to give, listen, this, especially in any business, truthfully, this applies, it's solution based, right?
100%.
So if I'm going to give you, if you're calling me like that woman that called me earlier and she's like, I want a CO2, in her mind, the solution to her problem is this CO2.
Yep.
I've never seen your face. I would never even book you for a treatment like that without even seeing you. But
We don't know her age.
I don't know her age, her
You don't want to
ethnicity, her
evaporate
skin.
tissue on a young person.
What are
if
you
she's
doing?
40
There's a
and has
lot
good-
of things that we might need to do. We might need to pre-treat with some chemical peels first to maybe break some of that surface stuff up so we can get the deep stuff later. There's so many questions. And she was like, oh, we'll just book a consultation. We'll go from there.
Boom.
Great. Awesome. Let's get you in and really be honest with you. Because then this goes back to me saying these estheticians, these businesses, these med spas, they go in so hungry to make the sale, they don't consider what the possible outcome could be for that patient. Now, I could have said, sure, yeah, Drew, let me use your CO2. Let me, have my nurse blast this girl's face off. Maybe that doesn't give her the result she's looking for. Maybe it gives her the opposite and it hyperpigments her. Right. And now you're like, oh, shit. Now you have this bad review, but you wanted that money. Is that money worth that bad review that's going to cost you tens of thousands online? No, it's not. You've got to do what's best as a solution for that person.
You are what people want to get to. You're not a commodity. So if she called and said, I want a CO2, how much is it? And you had a CO2, it's this much. Okay, thanks. you're not solving anything for them, right? You're just a commodity. And that's what this industry can be. That's the downside of this industry. A medical spa, a plastic surgery physician spa, whatever it is. You got to get away from being just a commodity. You've got to...
I think that everyone... And you can't expect that these clients know what the hell that they want because they have no idea about how these devices work.
Yeah, they have no clue.
They're like, I want to pay this. I saw this on TikTok. I'm like, oh, that's cute, but I'm not doing it to you.
Yeah.
You know? And maybe some business owners will say I'm stupid. They'll say, hey, you know, that's money left that you didn't take on the table. But I have 5-star reviews, babe. I don't have anything that's under the 5 stars. There's a reason for that.
Love how you threw in babe. Come on, babe.
You know?
5 stars, babe.
5 stars, boo. Like,
Title that. Change the podcast name to that. 5 stars, babe.
Ooh.
I should.
Hey.
The 5-star, babe.
Yeah, just shut everything down. We'll rebrand the whole thing. No problem.
Nick, favorite movie?
My favorite movie of all time?
Toughest question to answer.
I don't really have. It's
here
more
we go.
genre.
Yeah.
I mean, The
Yeah.
Godfather.
This
but
is the
first
ADD
one.
coming in, guys.
Apocalypto.
Really?
Dude.
I've never seen any
Mel
of these.
Gibson?
I know, right? Mel Gibson, I know.
He's not. I mean, whatever.
When I'm seeking
Passion
a little...
of the Christ was a good movie Mel Gibson made.
Right. But Apocalypto doesn't speak really much in it. It's just pure, primal... If you're having a Sunday and you want to go into your week charged
Drew,
up,
I could talk to you for like 7
Apocalypto,
hours
dude.
about this crap because I'm big into like psychology and the psychology of sales, and I like history and everything else. We're getting on 2 hours here. What are we doing? Like, how are we doing?
Well, okay.
Drew's gonna have to pee again. You know what I mean?
No, I can't believe I made it that long.
Well, you know, with age. Go ahead.
Drink water. All you do is pee.
you
Like,
did.
I'm done. I'm just gonna be dehydrated. All
Yeah.
I do is
I
drink
don't
water because it's
need
good
it.
for you.
Yeah.
I don't feel that much better, and all I do is pee.
Yep.
God.
Well, it was a pleasure having you. I want to have you back on the show. Maybe we'll do a conspiracy episode.
Ooh.
We'll do an
We'll
outline.
have to we got to choose some topics.
Yeah, we'll make
have
like a
them
whole
ready.
outline.
Yeah, it's
We'll
a
do a
lot.
whole conspiracy one because I feel like you and
Yeah.
I could do like a fun show on that.
Totally.
But thank you so much for coming. Guys, please like, subscribe, follow us at Real Aesthetic Pod on Instagram. Is there a Instagram for you that you use for your business?
Lumenis New England. Lumenis New
All right.
England. all
We'll
one word.
tag that in here. We'll see you guys next week.
Dope.
Yes.